Hey guys, what's up? This is Dan here, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Inside the Sound. As always, please remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already and all that good stuff. I hope you are all doing very well. I'm not going to keep you too long in this episode because I wanted to just talk a little bit about, I guess, like creative sound design in a way. The stuff that I've showed you so far is, for the most part, being a little bit more, I guess, traditional in terms of the work that I've done. But I've been lucky enough to work on a project lately that has just been the complete opposite of that. It's allowed, like, the director's been very much open to, doing things a little bit different from what would normally happen in terms of, like, Atmos and things like that. So, yeah, let's jump right into it. Again, I'm not going to show any video today, which is a little bit annoying, but, for obvious reasons. And we're going to just jump right in. So there's a couple of things that I want to discuss, like, more in depth. So the first thing is I found a new plugin. That I've instantly fell in love with. It's another one from the, I guess it would be Complete 10 Ultimate. And that is Molekular. Now, what Molekular is, as far as I've gathered, because I've only kind of messed around with it a little bit, is kind of like a modular effects processor. So you get these four. This is, by the way, this is a very, like, basic overview. I'm not saying that I know everything about this. It's just what I've found so far. So you get these, like, 4 slots, and in each of these you're able to add a variety of different effects processors. So on this one I've got a filter. So I've picked a filter out of all of these possible ones. This one I've got a metaverb, again, out of all these different options. And then I've got a chorus, and then the last one's a dual delay, but it's not engaged. And what I've done is, like, the way that I've been able to, I guess, make this more interesting is you're able to create, like, macro controls to control a variety of different parameters, with one rotary encoder, which is awesome. So I've set an LFO up here. And that LFO, I believe, is just adjusting the mix of the metaverb, if I'm not mistaken. But everything else is tied to M1, as you can see here. And there's things that you can do, like step sequences to kind of get a little bit more in depth, and you can, make it so, I guess, for like beat making and things like that, is like every 16th, it'll kind of, every parameter will jump to something else, and it'll get a little bit crazy. But I didn't want it for that. I wanted to just have one rotary control that would adjust a number of different parameters. So mine, as you can see here, basically just adjusts the filter. So when it's all the way to the left, it's a very high resonance but low cutoff. And then as I move up, the cutoff opens up, but the resonance decreases. So it's not the most, it's not the most out there in terms of, controlling. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that this is the most intricate way to set up this plugin, because it absolutely isn't. Upon further inspection, I think the LFO is working to the size of the metaverb. I can't quite remember. But anywho, so what this is allowing me to do is, if we disengage it, so if we just go bypass, and we just play from, let's just say here. Just sounds like a bit of forest ambience, right? So the whole point of this clip, or this short, is it's very, like, abstract, and it's a person walking through a forest seeing some kind of not very nice things, right? And I just want to say as well that, like, this was all done in mind with the music. Like, the music was very the music was very ambient in itself. So if I just play a little tiny bit of the music. Do you get what I mean? It's like that little bit creepy, droning type of music, and I wanted to just kind of embellish that. So when I first come on board, I was here just to basically, you know, create Atmos and Foley for the short. And when I started actually creating it in a more traditional way, you know, like static ambiences and things like that, I found that it didn't quite fit with the overall aesthetic that the music was offering. Again, because there's no dialogue, I kind of feel like music is key. So we were working towards something, you know, that would help benefit the music, which would therefore benefit the whole piece. And I think when I was working on it, as in when I was doing more static stuff, it kind of just felt like it got in the way a little bit. So I thought, well, why not be a little bit more creative with it, and why not try and, you know, do things that are a little bit weird, shall we say, a little bit peculiar. So luckily, the director is an awesome director and was very accommodating, and she was saying, yeah, go for it, let's see what we can get. She's very cool. She loves the idea of, like, you know, how sound can affect film. So she was all for it. So I guess put a little bit of this together, and just wanted to, you know, see what would happen. So as I say, I was messing around with Molekular at the time anyway, and this is basically what came from it. So here we go. So all that it's doing is kind of just an altering, you know, filter sweep, and the meta verbs in there as well. And I think what it does is just allows a little bit more of a dreamlike, you know, weirdness. I guess it's hard to explain. I just think it kind of takes something that's normal and processes it in a way where it's not, you know. And so there's that familiarity there. I think I've messed up this word a couple of times, but there's that there, you know, that traditional sound, but because it's getting altered in a way, it kind of tricks your brain, and I think it fits a little bit better with the music as well. So if we try and just play the music, this isn't final music, by the way, it's just an idea. So let me just do that again, because trying to find the right balance between, because again, you know, the music is going to be a lot louder than that. If I just lower this Atmos track down, so I guess the best way of putting it is that I'm creating a bed of sounds that could even be considered music, if you think of it in that way. You know, it's part of the musical soundtrack, and it's just a layer of music, I guess. So what happens later on, I know this is really hard to tell without the video, and I do apologize about that. Later on, like, another series of ambient sounds come in, and this is where we start using the chorus. So this point in the short, it's kind of everything starts breaking down a little bit, not too dissimilar to in Inception when like the dreams start breaking down. So just like an added level of you know modulation on the sound, so you can tell that things are starting to progress that a little bit further. So yeah, Molekular is unbelievable. Like, I've loved it. I think there's so much more you can do with it than what I'm doing with it. Don't get me wrong. I'm still a moron when it comes to this type of thing. So I know a little bit, and like I like being able to tweak stuff and being like, oh, I see what that's doing, and I like that I can move multiple parameters over to one parameter, basically to one encoder, and then use that encoder to automate. Another thing I just wanted to mention is that I'm currently using the Pro Tools Control app for an iPad, and it's brilliant. I love it. This video isn't about this whatsoever. I just thought, like, I hate automating with a mouse. Like, I absolutely hate it. So what's really good is that, say, if I wanted to just automate a certain track, you can, you just thing here, you just go over here, set that to, touch, and then when you start moving that fader, it automates it. It's a tremendous bit of kit, and it's free. Brilliant. I love it. There's also so many things that you can do. You can go into soft keys and you get a hell load of, you get an unbelievable amount of options and, little buttons that you can push to change screen sets and stuff like that. Remember when I was talking about using the mouse? You just get this if you've got an iPad, and it's really cool as well because you get I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but you get loads of metering and stuff like that, which is absolutely phenomenal. The one last thing I just wanted to talk about very quickly is there's a couple of parts in this where I've used added recorded things, and I just wanted to kind of discuss the fact that how you can use like musical instruments to create textures. So I've used the guitar for this because I am a guitarist, and it's basically just this. It's not too mad, if I'm honest. It's just there's a bit in it where like the kind of he's moving through brush, through trees, and I thought maybe another little sound in there might just break up the monotony of just the forest. So it just sounds like this. So yeah, just a very little thing. Let me just turn the solo off, so it's just that. And I think, if I remember correctly, this is an electric guitar. I think it's just a Strat. But I didn't have a plex, so I used a 2p piece. I don't even have one in front of me to show you. But it's quite a thick coin. And when I was playing it on I think it was the G string, maybe the D string, because there's still like a little bit of groove on the woundness of the string, it kind of did like a cool little scraping sound as well. So just on its own, like before processing, that just sounds like this. Like a horrible noise. I'm using trusty old guitar rig with a screamer pedal and a tractor delay. Sounds like this. The tractor delay is amazing. I love it. I'm so gutted at times that it lives within Guitar Rig, because like so many of these cool plugins, components of Guitar Rig, I just wish were like standalone things, because I use them that often, and I think it's just a little bit cumbersome to have to load Guitar Rig to then load like a delay. And then all I'm doing after that is just a basic Q3, just taking away some of the lows and just building, it's accentuating about 6.5K. So yeah, the main thing is cutting away about 250. It's just that like rough rumble. I didn't want that much of that. So I guess that's it. Again, I'm really sorry that there's not really that much I can show you in terms of video. A lot of this makes more sense to video, so I apologize about that. Just very quickly, I've also used a bit to try and emulate, you know, the sound in films when like they look at the sun and the sun's blinding. I wanted the sound like that, so I've done this. Which is a horrible noise. It's just using incomplete. There is Evolve, very like 9 Inch Nails type messed up sounds, and one of them is that, and I've just really cranked the distortion on it, and then that just automates up underneath when the sun's glaring at the screen. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. There's a whole load of Foley we could have went through, but it's all pretty standard stuff. I wanted to just make this video to kind of show, you know, the more different ways that you can do stuff, and kind of showing out there that there are some directors that really not necessarily care about audio, because I think they all care in some way, shape or form, but someone who's actually willing to go, well, run with it. Let's see what it sounds like. If it sounds terrible, we won't use it, but if it sounds good, we will. So I think that's awesome. Definitely check Molekular out. Just be aware as well that, you know, you can do all this without Molekular. Like, Molekular, to me, just makes it a little bit easier to do it. You know, there are plugins that come free with everything, which have filters and delays and stuff like that. And you can quite easily just create them in a bus and use automation lanes to do exactly what I've just done. I just think Molekular is a pretty cool way to keep it all inbuilt, which I like. The one final thing I just wanted to mention before we go, hopefully you're still watching at this point, is, you know, get in touch and let me know what it is that you want to see, because there's been times where I've been struggling a little bit to think of stuff to show you, and obviously these videos only work as long as I've got work. So you know, it's kind of feast or famine. Like, if I've got a lot of stuff on, there's a lot of stuff I can show, but we need kind of some ideas of what we can do in like the dry months. So if there's anything specific that you want me to talk about, please get in touch. I do appreciate all the comments and stuff that I have been getting. There's been a few guys who've reached out through the Facebook group, which you can see, that'll all be in the description, and a lot of people have been getting in touch on Twitter. So it's great to see that, like, there's people out there who kind of like the stuff that I'm doing and have got some, you know, questions and are just basically interested in this field. It's something that I definitely want to crack on with and you know, improve and do more on. And that all works much better when you get in touch and say, you know, I like this, I don't like this, and then we can kind of take it from there. But yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to be. I've got a couple of things coming up in the next couple of weeks, which might take a bit of my attention. So if I don't speak to you in any way, you know, look after yourselves, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Hopefully you make some cool stuff. If you make anything, you know, post-production wise, any films, TVs, anything that you're working on, just get in touch with me, send them over. I'd love to see what you're up to, and kind of gives me an idea of, you know, might give me some, you know, tips and stuff to do. So I'm very, very excited to see that. But this has been Dan, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye.